First News with Keeler in the morning on WIBX and WIBX950.com.
Looks like you need a vacation. Enter the 5-Hour Energy Where Will the Tide Take You sweepstakes. You could win a $10,000 dream beach vacation. Imagine jet setting off to a tropical paradise, having fun in the sun, or diving at a gorgeous reef. It's up to you. No purchase necessary. Go to 5HETide.com for official rules and to enter. That's 5HETide.com. Enter today. Ends June 30th, 2024.
Listen, it's Friday. We're going to play music all morning long. I don't even care.
Yeah. It's a Music Friday on WIBX.
So this is like I'd love to do a parody to this. And maybe I will over the weekend. It's all about wake up in the morning, wake up every morning. How's this starting?
Wake up every morning to the alarm clock.
Here it is.
Get up every morning from the alarm clock's warning. Take the 8:15 into the city.
And then so you're walking into the place, and you're wearing a mask.
Yeah.
And by the time you get to the back of the store near the bicycles, you've already had 5 people say, "You don't have to wear that mask. Why are you wearing a mask?" Hey, you don't have to wear a mask. Why are you wearing that mask? So the song would be, mind your own business. I said, mind your own business. Mind your own business and get out of my face. It's like, what are you doing? Get away from me. Why is your business my business? If I decide to wear this stupid thing on my face, who are you to butt in? Right?
Exactly.
That's just what I'm saying.
It's not like we don't know that we don't have to wear masks anymore. Did you know that the mask...
It's like, shut up and get away from me. It's as bad as the people that were running up to people saying, how come you're not wearing a mask? You're as dumb as they are, you morons.
I know, it is just as equally as
God. And it wasn't even done to me. It was done to a relative, and they are not even fully vaccinated. They only have 1 shot in. And they were just sick. Shut up and get away from me. That's how I feel. Mind your own business.
Every day.
Every day. On the line right now is Tanya J. Powers. Good morning, Tanya. Good morning.
That's got to be my favorite parody song ever.
It's so fitting, right?
And it doesn't even have to be for masks, right?
Yeah.
It's just mind your own business.
It could be for anything.
I like that. That's really good.
Well, listen.
Well, Tanya, mind your own business.
That's right. Come on.
Exactly.
Well, we actually want to know about the business in California.
Yeah, what's the song? Mind your own business and you won't be minding mine.
That's actually who did that? I got to look for that one.
Remember off the top of my
That's
head.
already there. It's like an old country song, right? I think maybe
Hank
Hank Williams or something.
Is it Hank Jr.?
Oh,
I think it is Hank Williams
I don't know.
Jr. You're right.
I thought it was a
It's actually,
TV.
it goes
my
way
country
back
DJ,
to
Dave.
it goes way back to Hank Williams Sr.
I think it was originally a
Okay.
senior song, but I think Hank Williams Jr. did the song. You mind your own business.
I'm pretty sure he did, yeah.
Yeah, hold on. I'm looking right now through my.
Seems like I spun that record a time or two.
I'm looking through my vault of many, many songs here. A lot of people have done this song, but here is a remake of it by Hank Williams Jr. and Reba McEntire. They actually did the song. And originally...
Yeah.
Cause me and that woman bought a license to fight.
Well, then mind your own business. Hey, well, you mind your own business. Cause if you mind your own business, then you won't be minding mine. Everybody!
Man at the apartment is a nosy thing. He comes to my door and it's a ring, ring, ring. Don't mind your own business.
Yeah, I do
Now,
think
this
that was
is-
a good grab, Tanya. Very, very
I'll
good.
tell you right now.
The BTO can't miss. I mean, it's Friday.
You're right.
Right.
You're right, but that has a ring to it that I really like. You add Reba in there, and it turns into memories of my days spinning records at a country radio station.
Which is
There
why
you
you know
go.
all the words. But
Yeah.
I think that song may have had some trouble getting on the airwaves today. We got a license to fight. Don't come to my apartment if we're fighting.
Oh, that's a good point.
I've never heard that song before. We got a license to fight. That's a good line.
This is the original, by the way, and then we'll move on, Tanya.
Fight, why don't you mind your own business? mind your own business.
Like the crackle.
Cause if you mind your business, then you won't be minding mine.
Well, there we go.
Interestingly, that's what he sang to the neighbor who was minding their
Yeah.
business after he screamed at his wife the same exact thing.
That's exactly right.
Not so easy, is it?
All right. Tanya, I'm glad we've enjoyed this time with you. I hope you still have time to do what you were supposed to do.
For y'all, of course.
All right. California Marijuana Company is paying interns. We talked about this a little bit. Paying interns to test their products, and they're lining up.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they want product testers and people to write reviews. It is a Los Angeles-based weed delivery service, as in marijuana. The CEO says that they had a really good 2020, and what they want to do is hire some interns that will work. It's up to 16 hours a week, $15 an hour. Applicants have to include a one-page writing sample because, again, you got to write reviews, or a video shorter than 4 minutes and 20 seconds.
How'd they come up with that time?
I don't know. That's a head scratcher.
Yeah.
Detailing why they're perfect for this job. Now, if you want to apply, you got to be 21, and before you race to your computer to get your video stuff in, you've got to be a California resident. So you're going to need to move first, if that's something that you're going to want to do. They want somebody who is not casually into marijuana products.
Okay.
If that describes you or maybe a friend or relative that you could pass this along. The amount of testing is going to depend on what the intern is using. According to the CEO, he says, some of them can be used as a sleep aid or others can be used to give you an energetic high. So, and it's all kinds of different things, different kinds like edibles, vapes, you name it. So they're looking for interns.
When they say they're not looking for a casual smoker,
they don't want potheads.
Are they looking for a habitual smoker or someone who never smokes?
Well, I mean, again, there's edibles and flowers and all kinds of things, so I'm not really sure. It's not just a smoking sort of thing.
Okay, it could be an eater.
I would take casual to say if you're a casual user, it's like you use it quite frequently. So maybe they're looking for newbies.
I took it to mean like
if you're casual,
I'm a casual
you're
wine
not
drinker.
Habitual.
I'm a casual wine drinker, so I'm not somebody who can spot the different grapes or pick up these different scents.
Yeah, that's kind of the way that's what I read into as well.
I did too. Yeah. Like I'd much rather be casual than habitual, just for the record.
Right.
If I was being called anything, I'm casual. Yeah.
And by the way, that whole argument started because you called your better half habitual. So
yes, that's a very good point.
That's
Thank
how
you
that
for
happened to begin with.
Closing the door on that whole thing. All right, Tanya, very interesting. And my guess is that there will be no shortage of applicants.
No, probably not.
All right.
It's going to be interesting to do the follow-up on this story sometime.
Well, listen, you've started our weekend off really, really well. So thank you, and you have a wonderful weekend, and we'll speak next week. Thank you.
Y'all have a good one.
All right, you too. Tanya J. Powers from Fox News.
On a high note, if you will.
Okay.
There we go. That's how
like
we start
that.
the weekend.
Yeah.
Which, by the way...
on a high note.
Yeah,
with some great weather on the way. If you like it hot, you're going to really
The clouds
enjoy
are already clearing, I can see.
It is going to be. I mean, today's going to be one of those really nice days with sunshine, mostly sunny skies, and still, gradually becoming mostly sunny. But low 80s. But the weekend is going to be very, very hot. Mm-hmm. So you'll want to try to stay cool, and into Monday and Tuesday as well before we fall back just a little bit. This, they say, is that I've never heard of such a thing, but meteorologists are calling it the heat dome.
Oh, they just make this stuff up.
I think they do.
Is that like the polar vortex?
The heat dome that is from out west is making its way over top of us.
Look, we do it. I don't want to get too much into this, but we kind of have some conversations here in the building where we talk about content that we produce for our website. Mm-hmm. And, your headline didn't meet a certain criteria. You need to put some splash words in there. You need to do something to dress it up. You got to draw some people to that headline.
Yeah.
And I almost feel like it's the same thing here. The meteorologists sit around and they go, look, if we tell them it's going to be 88 all weekend, it's going to roll right off the back. Right? We need to call this the Thunderdome of heat.
Yeah.
It's approaching from the northwest.
Could we get that boxing announcer to come in? Thunder, thunder, thunder.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's how they come up with these names.
All right, I have a lot to get to here today, as a matter of fact. The Washington Post did a very, very interesting story in terms of statistics when it comes to COVID-19. Now, what are we watching? We're watching the numbers go down, right? Mm-hmm. The numbers are decreasing, and it's a good thing. People are taking their masks off. It's a good thing. Don't get me wrong that
for 56% of them, it's a good thing.
The problem here is if you are not vaccinated, for people who are not vaccinated, the rate of COVID-19, this is the dirty little secret that no one is paying attention to. If you're not vaccinated, for those who are not vaccinated, the rate of positive cases of COVID-19 are still as high as they were back during December, when we were at a very, very high rate. So what it's basically saying is eliminate all the vaccinated people from the equation. And the rate of positivity is still extremely high.
I think there's two really good things.
Well, number one, they're not protected.
Absolutely. The first thing is it shows you the vaccine is working, or at least that's what the statistic is telling us.
At the very least, that's what the stat is saying.
The second thing is this. I don't know. You pick a number. In Oneida County, the latest number is 56% of the adult population has received at least one shot. Okay, so I know it varies by community, but here's my point. So you take the 56% or whatever the number for your community is, and then you add to it those who didn't get vaccinated who are now infected. That's a form of vaccine, isn't it? To some extent. You have antibodies.
I guess you're going down that road that originally people were talking about of herd immunity, right? Everybody's going to get it, and we'll naturally get to herd immunity. Well, the other part of this that's difficult is Michigan, Pennsylvania, New Jersey, Maine, Florida, and Illinois have all adjusted death rates about 50% higher than the national adjusted rate. Maryland's adjusted death rate is above the national average. D.C. and Virginia are just about at the national average. What it's saying here is with the variant, for those people who are not vaccinated, the rate of death is actually higher than it was back when we didn't have the variants, didn't have the vaccine, and we were all getting it in December. The actual rate of death is higher. And the fact that under the current circumstance, those who have not been vaccinated, people are more likely to end up in the hospital. We're not paying any attention to these numbers. If that's not enough incentive for you to say, okay, it's time for me to get this vaccine, I don't know what is.
That's an interesting point that you make, yeah. Because all you hear anywhere you go is down, down, down,
well,
going away.
The other story that we always hear is what? He was vaccinated. She was vaccinated, but they still got the virus. Well, what's happening in those cases is almost in all of those cases, those people are not ending up very sick. They're not ending up in the hospital. Yes, they've tested positive. Now, maybe without the vaccine, they may have had. That's why these numbers are done in massive size, so that you can look at the averages. But what it's saying is, if you are not vaccinated, you're not going to be, right. If you're not vaccinated, chances are you don't believe in any of this. I didn't get it then. How am I going to get it now?
Or you could be just waiting for the next incentive to come out.
I guess. What it's saying is that you're more susceptible than ever before. Mm-hmm. So, and again,
this is an interesting angle that nobody's talking about.
No one is talking about. This is from the Washington Post. So apparently they're talking about it.
Okay. All right.
And
I was trying to give you the credit.
I want to bring this up here, too. Dr. Anthony Fauci, a Scrubs book from Amazon, Barnes & Noble, blah, blah, blah. Fauci is a Chinese asset like Trump was with Russia. Ha! How come you're not talking about that? Rob, I got to tell you, I read through the emails, the Fauci emails, and I completely don't think there's anything there on Fauci. He sounded to me like a guy that was trying to maneuver someone that was emailing him. He was in some cases, maybe there are some areas where he was wrong, but even the clip. When people say Fauci said you don't have to wear a mask, he said it on the Today Show. I heard the clip. Yeah, because when Hannity plays it, he cuts off the second part of the clip. The second part of the clip says, but that could change tomorrow. That clip never gets played on Hannity. Why is that? Why do you take that part of the clip off? Because the clip wouldn't have the same effect. I mean,
The same reason, Trump stuff got edited. It's the exact same reason.
I feel exactly right. The same thing was done to Trump. There is no doubt. Now, oftentimes, though, President Trump would then come back and say, "No, I really did mean that," and screw you, because that's kind of his way. But I feel bad for it. I'm sorry. I am a Fauci fan. I don't care if you think I'm a flaming liberal because of it. I am not. I think he maneuvered us through this whole thing. I don't care what you think of me, to be honest with you. I got done thinking about that a long time ago. The reality is, the guy has given his life to this thing, and maybe he does enjoy the spotlight. Maybe he was on TV a lot. Who knows? Maybe he's not really a nice guy. For me, he's somebody that I have trusted and will continue to trust, and I don't think he was wrong. I think he knew as little about this virus as the rest of the world, and we learned about it as time went on. Think about it. Normally, in these scenarios, when we're dealing with a vaccine, we have 10 years to figure all of this out. And on all of the thinking and learning and mistakes and wondering and correcting, all of that occurred behind the scenes. In this year, it was played on TV day in and day out, time after time after time after time. So I'm sorry, Rob, what you see in those emails, I don't see. I do not see it.
Some of the excerpts that I read, to me, see, here's the one part of the argument that I tend to agree with is that people we look to Fauci for answers, and he gives you an answer, and then sometimes things change, circumstances change, and we learned this kind of on the fly type of a thing. And I feel like that's the part of the argument that people don't give him any credit for. It's like the same people who say, I'm not getting a vaccine. How do I know what's in this? It only took them a year to develop this. This COVID-19's only been around for 18 months. We don't know anything about it. How do I know this is going to work? Those same people expect Fauci to know exactly what's going to happen every step of the way, like he's been through this before.
And, in anything, these are people that as of right now, we believe, you hear that all the time, that this vaccine is safe. And it does not mean that we couldn't discover something down the road. I understand that. But there are certain risks, I think, that need to be taken at times. And if that's the risk to avoid the bigger risk, then I already had it, so it doesn't even matter. But don't argue with me.
It's too late for us, Bill.
You're right. We can't back away now. We can't throw it up or anything, right? So, but I just find that the numbers, everybody's focusing on Joe Blow got the vaccine and still got the virus. Well, Joe Blow didn't die. Joe Blow didn't end up in the hospital, number one. Number two, let's focus on the other thing. The other part of this is those that have not. What is the percentage rate of people, the percentage of people who have not been vaccinated? And what this study is saying is that number is actually as high, if not higher, than we were the positivity rate back in December. And you know how bad it was in December. Can you even imagine where we are today as opposed to where we were then? The number of cases, the number of people in the hospital. It was pretty intense back in November and December and January. Anyway, so Rachel Sutherland standing by right now. I'll move on if you don't mind. Vice President Harris to take the first foreign trip. It'll happen this weekend. And where's she going? Rachel Sutherland from Fox News on the line right now. Rachel, good morning.
Hey, good morning. Well, the Vice President will land in Guatemala on Sunday, and she is set to meet with the President and discuss the root causes of migration. She's giving a preview, as I said, saying that she's going to be talking about natural disasters and the fact that people can't get work and poverty, but also she said that she's going to be addressing corruption within the government that might cause people to want to leave. Also on this trip, she'll be back on Tuesday. Somewhere along the way, she's going to meet with the president of Mexico as well. One can't expect that all the issues will be addressed and wrapped up in this one visit, but it is her first visit to the region as vice president, and maybe she can lay some of the groundwork with coming up with some kind of an agreement to keep people in the country. We do know that she has pledged money to get them to stay, and also announced a public-private partnership where corporations can help out as well.
Interesting. And this is now going to Mexico. Will she go to the border? That has always been the big question. Yeah.
That we have not seen her itinerary yet, but there's been no confirmation that she'll go to the border, and she's been under a lot of criticism for that because you can know about a problem, but when you actually see it firsthand, that's a little different. In April, CBP said that they took 111,000 single adult migrants into custody. That's just in April, and with the summer months coming, it's only bound to be higher.
All right, very interesting. We'll see where this trip takes her. Rachel Sutherland, thank you so much. Have a wonderful weekend. Okay. Let's see. I have some other interesting things here this morning. Did you know that Boonville was in a deal? I don't know why the state does this.